Okay, back on the old LS-6. I think last time I left off, just got the old crankshaft installed. So now we got the ready to put the piston and rod assemblies in. So here they are. I got the rings on already. I checked my ring gaps and they're all okay. Actually, I left them just how they came out of the package. We've got definitely more than, we're sitting right around 30 from the top, and a little bigger on the second ring, which is not a non-issue. Too tight on the ring gaps is catastrophic. If the rings, if there's the gap, if you can see it there, right here, they're staggered. Of course, we don't line up all our parting lines, and there is an order to follow when you put those on. But if you don't have enough ring gap, as it heats up and the ring grows and the ends butt together, as soon as they butt together, it's pretty much catastrophic. The ring's going to try and seize in the bore and pretty much guarantee you're going to break a piston, or whatever happens, it's not going to be good. So it's one area where you definitely you can be drastically loose, I'll say that, on the ring gap, and not cause any issue. Now again, I'm not saying to go and open them up to a 1/4 inch, but GM manual, my GM book there, for example, big block Chevy kind of has a range of 10 to 20. This is naturally aspirated, no boost, no nothing, so I've got more than enough clearance, and it's not going to cause an issue. And these bearings are King. They're a coated bearing, as you can see. I'll just set that down and I'll show you just the rod cap here. So you can see they're a little bit narrower. You can see that space here. So they're a little bit narrower, and they're coated. And these are 1/unders, which means it's going to actually make the bearing clearance 1 thou tighter. And the reason I did that, I tried standard bearings, as this crank is still standard. In good shape. I just had it polished. But with a standard bearing, with the bearing shell torqued up to spec, using my dial bore gauge, micrometers accurately measuring, I had 3.5 thousandths. Could I run it at that? Yes, I could. Would it knock? No. But there's no reason to be that loose either. I'm not just running out at the track, and I'm not going to run straight 50 weight oil in this thing either. And I do want to get some life out of it. It's kind of going to be just a cruiser driver deal. So by putting the 1 thou unders, I put it right at 2.5 thou, which is, in my opinion, spot on. So that's a good clearance to be at on a big block Chevy like this. Again, if it was a little bit bigger cubic inch and you're going up, really pushing this thing, making big horsepower, you might want to open it up a bit. But this is 1970 LS-6, factory rated 450 horse. It's going to be as close to stock, other than I'm going to update the camshaft. I'm still going to run a solid lifter cam, but I'm going to put a solid roller in this when the time comes. But anyways, that's where we're at there. And then I don't know if you can see in the camera, the bearing is pushed down by hand as far as I can go, but you can actually tell that the bearing protrudes a little bit past the cap, which it's supposed to, for the techie guys that already know what I'm talking about. Nothing new, and that's referred to as bearing crush. So as you torque this down, it all seats together nice. It helps seat the bearing into each half. It helps from fretting. It helps it from, basically it locks it into place nicely, and so you're not going to spin a bearing. And with 2.5 thou clearance, I shouldn't have issues winding this thing up a bit. Yeah, so that is that. Again, there's these are the, you can see the dimple here. It's the LS-6 rod, 7/16 rod bolts, factory pistons, standard bore, all that stuff. Repeating myself, but I guess that's what happens as you get older. Yeah, so I'm gonna start sliding these in. This is number one cylinder. The way I've got the block sitting here is right here. So I don't know that I'll film sliding all of them in here, but I just thought I'd, yeah. So for starters here, I've got my ring orientation, how I like them. Basically, we got all our, we don't want to put all our parting gaps all in a straight line for obvious reasons. But yeah, I'm just going to give a little shot of oil here. Little shot down in the wrist pin area, and little shot into the cylinder here. So we get her all lubed up nice. I've mentioned it lots of time about how I like how you can't go wrong with a lube, right? Nobody likes it dry. Dry causes all kinds of issues for obvious reasons. And for assembly, I'm using this stuff here. No, I'm not sponsored by them. I don't get no discounts or nothing. I just like it. It's a nice, it's a grease, assembly grease, and I don't know when this thing will actually get put like completely together and fired up and running, so I want to know that when it is up and running that it's well lubed. And I'm just going to set this in here. Just like so. Then I can grab my ring compressor right here. I had everything laid out, I thought, because my yeah, good one. I did have it sitting right here. This is where I'd say go to a commercial break, but holy cow, I'm just getting going. All right, where did that go? There it is, right there. Here it is here. I know my buddy, if my buddy Zarkozy is watching in Michigan, he'll be, he was commenting about how annoying it is when you watch these guys do these videos and they spend half the time looking for the tools. And he's like, I don't know why they don't have their tools all laid out first, and so you can actually sit back and watch what they're doing. But I guess that's because some of us just aren't as organized as others. But you know what? No editing, no nothing. This is the real world you're watching with me. Mistakes included. Nothing's edited out. So it's you know, in the real world, things don't always go how they're supposed to. But I guess with everything that's going on in the world today, I guess no one would probably argue that too much. Okay, slide this up. Get this clamped down. Main thing is we don't want to be forcing anything. Take your time with this stuff. It's not we're not top fuel here in between rounds where we gotta do this in 15 minutes or whatever. So I'll grab my another buddy of mine commented about my old brass hammer. He liked how it's getting mushroomed on the end. It's just getting broke in nice. Tap that down, flush it up to the block. Snug this up again, make sure we got them rings sucked in. So we're gonna clear and try and just tap this in real nice and try and guide the rod from this end and not cause anything catastrophic here. There we go. In the hole. And well, we can tell by our the valve orientation which way the piston should be aiming here. But again, I'll just show you another one here. We've got, well, both sides are. We've got a chamfer on the rod here. We do have a slight one on both sides, but basically looking at the rod like this bigger chamfer here, this is the side that goes against the crank, and then the flat side here, flats go rod to rod for your orientation. So you don't want to make sure that you're the right way, not 180 out. On this, it would be, we would create all kinds of issues if we don't have it right due to the valve reliefs and things like that. But that is that. And yeah, you can see that. So I'll bring it over here and readjust. And just kind of guide this thing in. And you can hear that little solid sound there, and we have hit home. And we can grab our number one, as we see, our number one. And we got to make sure that we got these, that we're putting that on the right way too. Give it a nice coat of that grease. And we got our number one stamped. We can line up our numbers and our tang to, again, you can see the, right here, the tang from the bearing. And go tang to tang. Oh, the old heater's cutting in. And then These particular bolts, these are old SPS bolts. Believe it or not, they just back in the day there, before they had the exotic loops. Everybody's pretty much running ARP now, but these bolts are, I know the lifespan, they haven't been used that much. This engine was put together years ago and not run for very long. The only reason I went through this, taking it all apart, just it sat for a while, and it was in a garage, but the intake was off of it, and I thought, you know what? For how long it's been sitting, why not just take it apart, clean it all out. The crank was really nice, but I had it polished anyways. It was like, you know, why not? You're going to all the trouble for the cost of getting the crank polished. I think it's well worth it, in my opinion. Here I am hunting around for tools again. So just gonna snug these up for now, and then I'll go through and torque everything after. Snug that up. And I'll just give her we'll just give her a light torque to like 30 foot-pounds for now. Again, these are 7/16 bolts, so they gotta go a lot more than that. But this is just for now, first hook. And torquing these, I try and hold it against the crank. I mean, so you're not, I don't know, so you're just not. It's just probably more of a mental thing where I'm trying not to twist on it as much. So I'll just. There we go. 30 foot-pounds on that pass. So, all right. So there's number one. We can spin her over here. Might as well throw this in now, because use this just to spin it over. This is going to get tighter and tighter, but yeah. And you can tell that spins over like real nice. Beauty. And I like to line up the throw with, yeah, you got to drive the piston down farther, but I like to have lots of room, lots of control. Like I said, it's not top fuel, we're not between rounds, so I can spend lots of time. Okay, number 3. Same deal. Slide this around so you can see again. Get a little lube on the bearing. I mean, it doesn't take much. For the most part, engines are technically they're over lubed on the assembly. But I say better to have too much than not enough. And yeah, it's cooled off again, and I think we're gonna get more snow. I guess it is March. Kind of was hoping. We got spoiled. We got a little bit of a break there, and we're thinking we're into spring here, but we're a long ways. We're a long ways yet, I guess. Well, another month, things should really start turning around. That's for sure. Okay. Sure. Back our ring compressor off. Up to the block, and again we'll guide it home. Again, you can see it's a narrowed, the bearing's narrow. More definitely a performance orientated. Good. Heater just cut out a lot quieter. Again, just take these to 30 foot-pounds for now. Okay, well, that's probably giving you the idea anyways. So I won't keep going on that. Let's see what else. Oh, geez, I hear the cat. Oh, he's out right out back there. Don't worry, he's got heat. He sounds like he's dying, but he's got heat. So yeah, here's maybe a better look. And again, I checked clearances earlier, so I know we're in the. I definitely had to go 1 thou under because standard bearings 3.5 is just a bit too loose. Too much clearance. What was I gonna? Oh yeah, here we go, right here. So I've got a little bit more jewelry on the 62. It's starting to come together. Well, it's looking pretty good with getting all the chrome and stuff back on it. Door handles in. I got to do I'll be changing out the side glass yet, and then I can finish off. Once the glass is in, then I can finish coating up the floor and putting some sound deadening and then get the interior back together. You see new windshield back glass is in, and yeah, and I mean, yeah, these are repops, but they're actually quite nice, and they actually, surprisingly, they actually fit pretty good. And then probably the best emblem about this car is right here. So yeah, there it is. It's starting to look like something again. And yeah, who would have thought you'd get that plate? Figured that plate would have been eaten up long time ago. Yeah, in the old wagon again here. I did tweak this back bumper. I tucked it in. I don't know if you can tell, but I maybe in other videos or whatever, but basically I was tired of looking at the ugliness in here and in there. So I've tucked the bumper in about as tight as I could get it, and to make the bumper fit the quarter, I actually cut the bumper, welded it, and I don't know how it looks in the video, but it actually looks not too bad in person here. Eventually I'll take it off, get it chromed, and make it a lot more fit absolute perfect. But I've taken about a 1/2 inch out of the bumper to get it to sit in that tight, but I'm pretty happy. And I just used the chrome rattle can and just kind of dusted it in. But probably if I didn't say anything, I don't think anyone would notice. But I definitely like the cleaner look of it tucked in. I might do the same with the front bumper. I don't think I'll have to cut it or anything, but just try and get it slid in, tucked in a little closer. But yeah, I just thought I'd show that. Anyways, I thought it worked out okay. So that's where that is. That's about that. So I'm gonna keep going with getting this engine together. Well, getting the bottom end together, anyways. I don't have a camshaft for it yet, but I am going back solid lifter, and it's going to be a roller camshaft. And I haven't decided 100% on the specs yet. And actually, if anybody who's watching has suggestions, I'm open. I'm open to suggestions for cam specs. And I'm gonna be running the LS-6, the factory cylinder head, which is an old cylinder head, but I want to keep it basically all LS-6. I know the compression will be, it'll be up there, but I can definitely stand to bleed a little off by camming it up a little bit and being a rectangle port head. I mean, let's face it, there's way better camshafts today than the factory LS-6 grind. So yeah, I'm open to suggestions. What kind of specs you guys might run in something like this? Again, it's not an all-out. I'm gonna drive this thing. I want it to, it's gonna be a driver, but I definitely want to. I think there's a lot to be had with some of the grinds available today, and especially even if a guy gets into a custom ground one or whatever. But yeah, so it's going to be the 291 rectangle port casting heads that are going on it, and I'll be running the flat aluminum factory LS-6 intake. So when it's in the car, it's going to look all GM, and that's how I'm doing her. So that's all I got for now. Until the next time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.